Hello guys, it's Stephen here back with another video. Manchester City have just beat Fulham 2-0 to go top of the Premier League. Again, 1 point ahead there with a game in hand over Liverpool. We'll have a game in hand after Liverpool's game tomorrow, of course. So as it stands, on 1 point ahead, which is really, really nice. Don't forget as well, this channel is sponsored by the wonderful people over at OneFootball. So go and download the app in the link in the description below. I'm looking at my phone now here. You got all the stats up there in terms of City had 65% possession. Absolutely peppered their goal. 24 shots to their 5, 7 on target, obviously 29% shot accuracy, and loads more stats and all that kind of stuff there on the app. So go and download that in the link in the description below because it's a fantastic app. It's free and it gives me all the Manchester City news up to date. But anyway, football is back. Manchester City are back. How nice does it feel? If you're wondering where I am, by the way, I'm back at my parents' just because it's my mum's birthday, so I thought I'd go in the spare room to record this video because, you know, I still got to get this video done, but family's more important, so I'm not at home at the moment. So, yeah, I'm just in the spare room in here. So, my old bedroom. Hello, old bedroom. Anyway, Manchester City are back. It feels really nice, doesn't it, after the international break? And this game was always going to be important. It was on to the pre-game kind of stuff. Obviously, there was a huge boost with Kevin De Bruyne, Fernandinho, Stones, Mendy, all back in training. Though only 2 of them were involved on the day. We saw Fernandinho come off the bench. Kevin De Bruyne got an unexpected start, and there was nowhere. Mendy was nowhere to be seen. So that was kind of an interesting one for me, but in general, we went for a pretty strong lineup, which showed how strong our actual squad is at the moment. Really, really strong. Went for Ederson in goal. Zinchenko seems to be the first choice left back these days, and fair play to him. He started left back. Then we had Otamendi alongside Laporte. No Stones, no Kompany, of course. And right back, Kyle Walker carried on there at right back. Midfield, Ilkay Gundogan carried on number 6 despite Fernandinho's return. I'm glad because I think we shouldn't rush Fernandinho where possible, so it made sense for Gundogan to start there, given his current form in that position. Kevin De Bruyne back alongside David Silva in midfield, and Bernardo carried on the right with Aguero through the middle and Raheem Sterling on the left. It was a pretty strong lineup, and it showed how strong our team was with likes of Sane, Gabriel Jesus, Mahrez on the bench, Fernandinho on the bench. It shows at the moment that we're getting stronger and stronger, and we're going to need that now if we want to complete this historic quadruple, because it is possible. It genuinely is possible. It's not likely, but it's very possible. On to the first half. I agree with Pep when he said that this first 20 minutes was one of the best 20 minutes that we've seen so far this season. We were absolutely lightning. None of those kind of like post-international break kind of slowness or nerves. We were at Fulham constantly. The passing was crisp. It was precise. The pressing was really good. It was obviously nice that the likes of Aguero got an international break rest because he looked really, really sharp for those first 20 minutes. Kevin De Bruyne looked like he hadn't been away for a while. Bernardo was Bernardo, of course. And we created plenty of little chances. Fulham were a bit sloppy. They definitely were a bit sloppy. They gave the ball a few times to us, which obviously resulted in the first goal eventually. A mistake led to Bernardo Silva cutting in and firing home brilliantly from the right wing. A fantastic play. It goes strength from strength. And it was a very deserved goal. After that, essentially, Fulham fans started mocking their own team with sarcastic olays every time they completed a pass because City were really that dominant. From that point onwards, the middle kind of half of the first half was a little bit kind of sketchy. We weren't really doing that well. Fulham got the foot on the ball a little bit more. We were still comfortable, but they started to come back into it. Even though Ederson didn't have a single save to make throughout the game, no shots on target, he did have to punch away a couple of dangerous whip crosses, and that happened in the first half as well. But then that man, Sergio Aguero, stepped up and did what only Sergio Aguero can do. A delightful burst past the defender, and he finished from that angle that Aguero always does. How does he do that so often? Aguero has this astonishing ability to fire in from the most impossible angles, and he makes it look easy. But that is just Aguero for you. He's consistent. He does it against the best keepers in the world, and he's a freak of nature. Aguero finishing comes naturally, and that goal basically killed the game. A fantastic finish, a moment of individual brilliance, capitalising once again on some poor moments of possession from Fulham. And then after that, the game into the second half, not really much happened in the second half. I thought in general we were pretty sloppy, to be honest. As Pep said, it's very hard for players to get rhythm after the international break, and maybe we're kind of coasting a little bit. I still think we're a bit too sloppy, and against a team that does have some talented attacking players in Ryan Babel and Schürrle, Sessegnon can do something. It's not worth being a bit too blasé. I'm not saying they were intentionally blasé, but we weren't at our most impressive in that second half. And sometimes coasting can cost you a quick fire double goals, you know. Maybe coast at 3 or 4-0, but not at 2-0 in my opinion. Maybe trying to preserve energy, but the way we did it, I don't know. I thought it was quite a poor performance in the second half. Having said that, I am still obviously happy, man. There was a couple of moments, a couple of long-range shots. Gundogan whipped one just wide. Some lovely moments of football as well between Sterling and Silva and so on. I think Kevin De Bruyne had a chance. That was the first half, actually. Essentially, second half, I think, I'm not going to lie, I was mainly chatting to my dad for that because nothing really happened. A couple of substitutions, of course, still Fernandinho come back on. Aguero went off with looks like a knock. I think it's just precaution, though. But the second half just passed by. Fulham didn't really have any chances, had a bit of the ball, and essentially we just kind of strolled it to full time. Individually, Ederson had nothing to do. Ederson was just Ederson. He was there, he was calm, he was composed, he was collected, and he was totally at ease with how we were playing. Had a couple of punches to make, other than that, no saves to make at all, really. Kyle Walker, I thought he had a good game. I think there's always a moment or two where Walker may look a little bit comfortable possession, but I think in general, his defensive capabilities were really good today. I thought he had a couple of tricky players against him, some pacey players, and he was excellent. I thought he looked a little bit more kind of pacey than he has done recently as well, which was good. A good solid performance for Kyle Walker, and that's all I can ask for him, because I think we are in general spoilt with the quality. Sometimes we see a misplaced pass as a reason to castigate someone, but it happens. Especially happens with the players who aren't quite as technically good as others, and Walker isn't, but it doesn't mean he's a bad player. I thought he was decent. Well, Otamendi and Laporte, I don't think they were that convincing, actually, defensively. I'm not saying they were bad, but I don't think they were as composed as they could have been. Laporte was a little bit shaky in that first half every now and then. He was largely okay, but I don't think he was at his very, very best. And I think Otamendi aside, he was okay, but he did have a couple of Otamendi moments. There's obviously some talk at the moment about Otamendi maybe not being at Manchester City next season, that he's open for a potential move, but he's not exactly pushing it. And I think it's fair to say, if we can replace him with a young, exciting player, someone like De Ligt, that could actually happen. For me, though, I think Otamendi's a good player, even if he had an average day today. Zinchenko, just a solid game, really. A couple of nice little passes, looks very assured in possession. I don't think he stood out as much as he has done recently, but it was just a very, he was just there. He did his role. Like a few people, he coasted in the second half, but a solid performance. Gundogan played some lovely passes. I think he was probably a little bit guilty of not trying to dictate the rhythm enough in the second half, but he had a solid game. De Bruyne, it was nice to see him get back on the pitch and get some minutes. I don't think he's quite at the level yet that he was at last season. I think essentially I'm resigned to probably not seeing the De Bruyne of last season at all this season. I think he needs a solid run of games without injury, and given the games are going to come thick and fast at the moment, I can't see him getting sharp enough to be useful in the way he was last year, which is fair enough because we've got Bernardo now and we've got very good players, but he just has to be there for games like this, and he's still a quality player, and he still could happen because he's still got moments of magic in him, but his radar's not there yet, but it's good to see him back on the pitch. David Silva, it's tough, isn't it? I'm hoping at the moment he's just really tired because he's had a good, very slow 2-3 months. I can't deny that. First half of the season was absolutely fantastic. People were saying around December that he could be player of the year, but after that his form's dropped off a hill, really, sadly. He's not been the same as he was. He was okay. There were some moments quite nice, but to be honest, it wasn't just him today, but there was a few times where a pass that was obvious that he would have made previously that he didn't make, and I think that actually was same throughout the team, where there's a few obvious through balls that could have been made, but risks weren't being taken. And I think David Silva at the moment just looks a little bit slower than the rest of the team, and I'm hoping it's not age catching up to him. I'm hoping it's just a bad period of form, because all players do that. All the best players in the world do it. Even Ronaldo went a long period without scoring for Real Madrid. It happens to every single person in the world, so it could just happen for David Silva. As it is, he's still better than most footballers in the Premier League, even if he's not quite the level as some of the people in the team at the moment. Bernardo was Bernardo. Fantastic goal, clinical, useful, important as ever. Other than that, I don't think he's shone that much second half, but he did just about enough. Sterling didn't have a good game today, I don't think, actually. I think he was maybe he was a bit on cloud nine after all the England hype, and it just got to him a little bit too much. But, he worked as hard as ever, as did everyone in the team, really, but he wasn't at his best. Aguero came off quite early in the second half. Fantastic goals we discussed earlier. A quality player. I'm hoping it's just a precaution. Guardiola said he felt something and didn't think it was worth the risk, so came off, because he continues to be very important. 29 goals now. He's now got the same amount of goals as Thierry Henry scored for Arsenal in 46 less games, because he's a world-class player, Sergio Aguero, and he's trademarked that tight right-angle finish. What a footballer he is. It was nice to see Gabriel Jesus get on. I thought he had a nice little kind of cameo, a couple of moments of skill, even if he didn't get a chance or so. And it was also good to see Fernandinho get on the back on the pitch as well. Obviously, had very little to do, but it was good to see. Overall, it was just a competent performance. It wasn't a great performance, but as I said now, when I look at the Premier League table again, We are 1 point clear now. Obviously, Liverpool going to play tomorrow. Hopefully, Spurs could do us a favour tomorrow. They're going to Anfield, so it's not the new ground yet. But Spurs, you know, are a good football team who could get a point in there. And Liverpool haven't been in stellar form recently. If Liverpool maybe drop a couple of points there, they'll go level on us, but we'll have a game in hand, which maybe will give us a chance to pull away. Fingers crossed. It's a good time to be a Manchester City fan. This wasn't a clinical performance. It didn't need to be a clinical performance. Guardiola has talked quite a lot in general about how it's hard to get Riven back into the team after an international break because he's not had that contact in training. They forget their roles a little bit because they go to various other coaches who obviously absolutely bombard their heads with loads of information about how they want their international teams to play. So it's very hard for them to snap out of that and get back into the Manchester City way sometimes. I'm not saying it's possible, but it definitely is a factor, especially when you've got a coach as methodical and meticulous as Pep Guardiola, because he wants his players to play in a certain kind of way. And it can be very hard to switch back into that because it's complicated. But thankfully, we won. I am not too concerned about how we win at the moment, as long as we win. And now we're only, if we go all the way, there's 14 more games left. If we go all the way, we're very close to immortality. Take it one game at a time, keep winning, fingers crossed, and this could be very special. Could be very special. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. As ever, thanks to all these names scrolling down the screen. I forgot to give some shout outs, but I'll give it in tomorrow's video to the people who are the new patrons. If you want to get involved, patreon.com/Esteemed Kompany. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll probably be hungover because it's Paul Walsh's birthday, so I'm going out tonight. You remember Paul from Blue Horizon? Lovely fella. But I'll do a video tomorrow, 5 things you'll learn from this game, in a bit.